What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So President Donald Trump and the Fed have just made a big announcement. This comes as President Donald Trump has been pressuring the head of the Fed, Jerome Powell, to retire or resign. And this has been affecting, well, pretty much everybody in the United States with interest rates and credit card interest rates, mortgage interest rates, car loan interest rates, and affecting people's pocketbooks and your money as interest rates are still extremely high. Credit card interest rates are still near or at all-time highs, and credit card, actually the amount of debt for the entire country collectively is at an all-time high. Billions and billions and billions of dollars, and the U.S. government debt is actually at an all-time high as well. 30-some trillion dollars, okay? And these sky-high interest rates are costing everybody a lot of money. And the Fed and the head of the Fed, Jerome Powell, just will not lower interest rates. And in their most recent statement, they literally said that it was due to tariffs, okay? And President Donald Trump doesn't like this, and he's trying to find a way to get rid of the head of the Fed, Jerome Powell. And they may have just done it. So I'm going to give you the information here right now. So let's jump right in. We are live right now here on the YouTube It's Jimmy's Show. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Type yes in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. You can let me know your city, state, or even your country, as we have people tuning in here from all around the globe. Don't forget to hit that like button for me here. And if you haven't yet, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos. I will keep you up to date here with everything you need to know about on a daily basis and help me reach 500,000 subscribers. You guys are amazing. Okay, so take a look at this big news that is going on here. Some people are calling it a scandal that may lead to Jerome Powell resigning. I'll actually let you see and hear what he said here in a moment. The White House just took its most aggressive stance yet against Jerome Powell as President Donald Trump is trying to find a way to get rid of him and may even fire him, although Jerome Powell has said that it's not permitted, it's not legal, but President Donald Trump thinks otherwise, okay? You can see here the White House accuses Fed Chairman Jerome Powell of mismanaging the Federal Reserve, citing a mismanagement of funds of headquarters renovations. Yeah, so get this. So President Donald Trump and the White House are saying here that President Donald Trump's budget chief said that the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has, quote, grossly mismanaged the Fed and suggested he has misled Congress about pricey and ostentatious renovation of central bank's headquarters. And the broadside of the Office of Management and Budget Director Russell Vought opened up a new front in Trump's war of words against Powell. And Trump has repeatedly called on Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, to cut interest rate without success, and has reportedly considered firing Powell and more recently publicly naming the chairman's replacement after the end of Powell's term, or now possibly because of what is happening. Vaught's letter raises the question of whether Trump will seek to remove Powell for cause because of this. You can see here the information from this guy, Russ Vought. Chairman Jerome Powell has grossly mismanaged the Fed. He says, while continuing to run a deficit since fiscal year 23, the first time in the Fed's history, the Fed is way over budget on the renovations of its headquarters. Now up to $2.5 billion for their headquarter building. $700 million over its initial cost. These renovations include terrace rooftop gardens, water features, VIP elevators, and premium marble. The cost per square foot is almost $2,000, double the cost for renovating an ordinary historic federal building. The Palace of Versailles would have cost $3 billion in today's dollars. And this building is up to $2.5 billion for the this Fed building. Okay. Unfortunately, Powell's recent testimony to Congress has led to serious questions that now require additional oversight from the OMB in conjunction with National Capital Planning Commission. And people are wondering whether he should be removed for mismanagement of funds. And new details coming in now that Jerome Powell is, quote, considering resigning as pressure grows over this lavish $2.5 billion headquarters report that the White House has uncovered and is pressuring him over. A senior Trump administration official said yesterday that federal Chairman Jerome Powell is, quote, considering resigning as pressure grows for an investigation into whether he lied to Congress about the central bank's Palace of Versailles renovation to its headquarters in Washington, D.C. And Bill Pulte, the chair of the U.S. government-backed mortgage lenders, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, posted on X that he heard reports of Powell wavering about finishing his term. Remember, this is important because the Fed controls interest rates in the United States, and lower interest rates means paying less interest for basically all of America. Take a listen here.
So, can Jay Powell make it through the weekend? That's the subject of the riff. Is Jay Powell going to make it through this weekend? There are any number of rumors out there that he is being forced to resign. President Trump, of course, is on his case daily for not dropping interest rates in line with low inflation. Just a few moments ago, William Pulte, the important head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency that regulates Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and oversees the 11 federal home loan banks, well, he issued a statement saying, and I'll quote, "I'm encouraged by reports that Jerome Powell is considering resigning. I think this will be the right decision for America, and the economy will boom, period," end quote. That was Bill Pulte. Yesterday, OMB Director Russ Vought blasted Powell for his gross mismanagement of what Vought calls the Palace of Versailles. Take a listen.
We saw Chairman Powell, he was too late to recognize inflation, and now he's too late to lower rates. And the Fed has just mismanaged the institution, and we see that the extent to which they've been operating at losses for a number of years now. It's for the first time in their history. And then you just see a very practical example when you go to the nation's mall. You see the construction of this palace, in the words of one former official, upwards of $2.5 billion, massive cost overrun.
And this $2.5 billion monstrosity of Powell is already over budget by $700 million. OMB Director Russ Vought second-guessed Powell's Senate testimony that there's no VIP dining room, no new marble, no special elevators, no new water features, no beehives, and no roof terrace garden. Vought noted that the Fed's Taj Mahal is way out of compliance with the National Capital Planning Act. Now, Powell's long argued that he can't be replaced except for cause, quote unquote. But this kind of blatant financial mismanagement over the Fed's new building and the renovations of the old building, that's mismanagement that Powell denied under oath. Well, that could well represent sufficient cause to force his resignation or even be fired by President Trump. Meanwhile, economists are pointing out that the Fed is hemorrhaging cash as their interest expenses exceed interest taken in. And their $6 trillion plus bond portfolio is actually underwater by $1.1 trillion. This has all the earmarks of the bankruptcy of the Silicon Valley Bank. It went under in March of 23, almost pulled the financial system down with it. So now the question is, can Jay Powell even make it through the weekend?
So will or could President Donald Trump have found a way to get rid of Fed Chairman Jerome Powell and put enough pressure on him to get rid of him? And potentially, will he resign, or will he have cause to get rid of him because of this mismanagement of funds. So many people want to get rid of him because of the high interest rates. The White House just showed a clip here recently about how so many other countries in the world have lowered interest rates and the United States has not, and a lot of people want to lower interest rates. However, the Fed has said here blatantly that they don't want to lower interest rates because of tariffs, and the rising costs of tariffs will raise prices, and a lot of companies have already said that they have had to raise prices because of tariffs, and President Donald Trump keeps announcing more tariffs, 20 to 40% on new countries almost by the day, which when you have a 20 to 40% tariff, a lot of these companies are having to raise prices because they're not eating the tariffs. They're raising the prices to compensate, and that could or will lead to inflation. So let me know your thoughts. I will keep you up to date here on what happens here on a daily basis with this and everything going on here that you need to know about. So share this video with anybody that needs to hear this information. Make sure to subscribe down below so you get updates when they come out here, and click the bell icon so you get notifications, and help me reach 500,000 subscribers. It's completely free to subscribe. Click here to see the White House warning of U.S. cities under attack, or click here to see what's coming for July 15th for millions of Americans. Thanks for watching.